So here we go, episode number 2, actually part 2, of the tutorial on how to make lights on the car, which are LED based. So I totally forgot about one thing, and this one thing is actually clouded plastics. What I mean by that is, remember I showed you on the last episode that I basically wanted to create this cloudy material over here, but I failed because there's a simple thing. I used glass, but instead I should have used advanced material. So we're gonna go ahead and redo it, basically. Not actually that much, but we are just gonna go ahead and put it into performance mode yet again. We're gonna select this. Always want to make sure you're on the scene screen. Seriously, makes your life a whole lot easier. So we're gonna go edit material. Wait a second, I have to take this call. So I had a call, and we're gonna go right back to the situation. We're gonna go to advanced. We're gonna go with. We're gonna turn this actually down. Specular transmission. We're gonna use red. Okay, so we're gonna go to roughness transmission, so it will basically blur itself out. It's using the rear, the geometry underneath this glass material. We're gonna go and use roughness, so we can control on how blurry the actual light or the top plastic glass part is. So the more roughness and samples you add to it, the more quality and the more blurriness and this refractions all over the place you will get. At least I'm trying this for the first time. I might not be sure about this. But apparently it seems I am right about this. So it's a great know-how to get this going. So this was the tutorial. The tutorial on how you can get this cloudy material. See, the more roughness you add to it, the more blurry it gets, actually. So we're gonna actually go ahead and use the same kind of material option as well on the front lights. But apparently this advanced lighting with specular transmission, so if you have it like this, like black, it will be clear. Basically, actually, yeah. If you're gonna go, you're not gonna use a color. You're just gonna use black. It will basically be a solid color. If you wanna have a transparent color, you should use the level of the color. So if you bump it all the way to 255. Which is the max color you can get on any kind of system. So it will be basically clear. So you can see the bottom geometry being emitting light, and you can see it in your preview as well. And depending on how much roughness transmission you're actually going to use, you either, if you don't use roughness at all, you will just gonna have a clear light like this, basically a whole big line. But the more roughness you add to it, the more blurrier and the more refracted all over the plastic it will get. So that's the cloudy light scene you actually want to have. You can use the same situation also on the top light. I'm not going to go over on the top light, the red bar all over again, because if you have seen this part, you can actually relate to it on your own model as well. Sometime soon, there's going to be a giveaway, so this Audi A9 Prologue is actually going to be, one lucky person is actually going to get this model for free from me. This is fully commercial license free. There's not going to be any kind of tie downs with this model, and you can use it anytime you want. But we're going to do one little sketch over here. So I'm going to copy this material. We're going to scroll back in, and then apparently we're going to go and look at, yep, here we have it. I'm just going to put it in performance mode. We can scroll in faster and get to the part we actually need as well. So if you're ever in this kind of situation like I am right now, so your CPU is constantly ray tracing all of a sudden, and you want to zoom into a part real quickly to just toggle the preview on and off and not to worry about like what's going to happen next, I highly suggest you to use Control P. What's it, Control P? Don't use Control P or LP. Yeah, just toggle over here, performance mode. Yeah, easiest way you can actually do it. And we're gonna actually go ahead and we're gonna select these, and we're gonna paste the material and see either if it refracts what we want to refract of the light, and can it transfer the light as well. The reason being is if we want to transfer the light, the glass or the material has to be mostly blurry, or it cannot be fully transparent. If it's fully transparent, it will not diffuse light. That's not what we want to have. The more roughness we add to the material, the more the light is actually being catched by the material. So the more roughness, the more light catching, and the more you're actually going to get the final effect of these bars. So that's the thing to keep in mind. If you want to transfer light from one point to another, you have to use roughness. If you're going to use transparency, it's just going to be transparent lines. You're not going to see it in a dark environment, and basically your whole render and your whole purpose of using these kind of bars is just pointless. I don't see the point of it, and neither would anybody else if they want to achieve maximum quality on it and realism as well. Almost said realisticity. I don't have a clue what that means. Anyways, we are going to go ahead and do the same kind of thing, or at least try to do the same kind of thing on the front lights as well. So we're going to just focus on one light at a time. These lights are actually symmetrical, so that means if I if I edit one light over here, it will automatically transfer to the next light as well. This is the left, actually the right one, and the left one will actually be the same as well. So let's go ahead, front light glass. So it cannot be glass, it will be advanced material. So we'll swap out the material to advanced. We are going to go ahead and use Specular Transmission as white, and after that we're going to use Roughness Transmission so we can blur out the light. We are not going to use red or anything. We are just going to use some kind of grayish, whitish color. We are going to toggle on ray tracing mode, and let's just see what happens. Will it blur out the light as we want it to blur out to be, or are we completely going to fail over it? Reflector. Yep. Yeah. LED reflector. So these are the reflectors. Okay, so you can clearly see if you use the roughness transmission, the light itself gets blurry. That's exactly what we want. So the thought I had to actually get this work perfectly this time. So you can see clearly over here. So these things are getting blurry. We just scrolled in a little bit. Don't worry about this. But you can see, if we would just use Specular Transmission and Roughness Transmission on the lowest possible level, it will just be a transparent glass part. But we want some blurriness. We want some light, some life to it. So this is the way you approach this. Advanced lighting mode. You select the color you want the glass to be. The darker it will be, the less transparent the color will be. The more roughness you add to it, the more blurrier the background geometry, which is actually underneath the material, will be, and the more the light will be diffused outwards and blurred. So that's your number one thing you want to keep in mind when you're actually doing LED light bars. LED light bars are a pain in the bleep to do, and eventually this tutorial actually will work out just fine. So if you don't know what cloudy materials actually mean, make sure you go on to Keyshot blog themselves. Check out the cloudy plastics material tip. You will learn quite a lot more about cloudy plastics, getting these light bars sorted out, rather than just viewing my video and tutorial on this as well. But any kind of tips that Keyshot provides, you can probably, if you have this kind of imagination, you can use it on your materials as well. But as you can see right now, these lights are actually pretty close to what I actually wanted them to be, thanks to the advanced material and the thing that we actually went on about like a couple of seconds ago about clouded plastics. So this was part number 2. Make sure you subscribe, like, and all that stuff. Share it if you want with your friends. If anybody's having problems with these kind of light situations on their car and you're just plain mad, so just send them over to this tutorial. They will probably like it. So yeah, let's just the lighting tutorial on how to get LED, specifically LED light bars to work on automotive design. If you have some kind of pointers you want to point out on these, sure, give it a comment down below. In regards of actually doing it yourself, I highly recommend it to do it yourself. Try it out. Look at the imagery in Google to get a reference point on what you actually want, actually try to achieve, and play around with the materials. Just going on to Keyshot, importing them all, and putting emissive or area light diffuse materials onto your basically your glass geometry, which is actually not the light source, is not the answer to your question. This is not the way you attack things. Sure, if you're an amateur or just a person that just started up Keyshot or 3D modeling itself, that's fine. But if you're a professional and you want to do it as your day-to-day hobby or freelance work, or you actually want to be in automotive industries, then you should take another perspective on how to do the lights, how to make sure that the lights are as close to the real thing as possible. So I'm sorry for talking this much, but this has all been because of a reason. So the lighting that I did just a couple of moments ago, you can see it right now. It's blurry, it's exactly how you want it, and it's as close to the real thing as possible. So this has been part 2 of the lighting tutorial on the rear and front LED bars. So I hope this helped you out a lot. If not, sure, then I'll do another one. I'll try to improve as well. Everybody learns on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, have fun, guys. Try these materials out. Give it a try. Learn it. Do your own kind of stuff to it, and make sure if you actually do these kind of glass diffuses, you use emissive or area light diffuse geometry underneath. Otherwise, you're just going to have a bad day. So, anyways, guys, see you later.